She was the last pharaoh of Egypt, the most powerful woman in the ancient world, a queen who had seduced Julius Caesar, borne his child, and ruled alongside Mark Antony as co-regent of Rome's Eastern Empire. Cleopatra VII controlled unimaginable wealth, commanded armies, spoke 9 languages, and held the fate of nations in her hands. And on August 12th, 30 BCE, she died inside her palace in Alexandria. History tells us she killed herself. A defeated queen, heartbroken by the death of Mark Antony, choosing death over humiliation. The story says she smuggled a venomous asp into her chamber inside a basket of figs and allowed it to bite her, dying a symbolic Egyptian death, transforming herself into the goddess Isis one final time. It is a story so dramatic, so poetic, so perfectly tragic that it has survived for over 2,000 years. Shakespeare immortalized it. Hollywood romanticized it. Textbooks repeated it without hesitation. But here is what history rarely admits. Almost nothing about this story makes sense. The evidence does not support a snakebite. The timeline is suspicious. The witnesses all serve the same man. And that man, Octavian, soon to become Caesar Augustus, Rome's first emperor, had more reason than anyone alive to make Cleopatra disappear forever. What if Cleopatra did not kill herself? What if she was murdered? What if the snake, the figs, and the romance were propaganda designed to disguise one of history's most successful assassinations? Welcome to the Obsidian Chronicles, where we question official history, examine the evidence they don't teach in schools, and investigate the moments when power rewrote truth. Today, we are uncovering what really happened to Cleopatra VII, because if she was murdered, then one of history's most famous stories is a lie, and Rome's greatest emperor was also its most successful killer. Cleopatra was not the woman Hollywood taught you to see. She was not a fragile beauty ruling by seduction. She was a calculated, ruthless political mind, born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek royal family ruling Egypt since the death of Alexander the Great. Though her blood was Macedonian, Cleopatra did something none of her ancestors had done. She became Egyptian. She learned the language, adopted the religion, and ruled not as a foreign occupier, but as the living embodiment of Isis herself. She was extraordinarily intelligent. She spoke Greek, Egyptian, Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic, Ethiopian, Median, Parthian, and more. She could negotiate with foreign ambassadors without translators. She studied philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Ancient writers noted that her beauty was not extraordinary, but her presence was devastating. Plutarch wrote that her conversation had irresistible charm, and that her voice, her wit, and her intellect captivated everyone who encountered her. When Cleopatra took the throne at 18, Egypt was technically independent, but functionally a Roman client state. She understood that survival depended not on resistance, but influence. When Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt in 48 BCE, she seized her opportunity. Whether she entered his chambers rolled in a carpet or not, the result was undeniable. She became Caesar's lover, political partner, and bore his only acknowledged son, Caesarion. For a moment, Cleopatra stood at the center of Roman power. She lived openly in Rome, scandalizing the elite. But when Caesar was assassinated, she fled back to Egypt, knowing Rome would soon descend into chaos again. And it did. When Mark Antony rose as one of Rome's rulers, Cleopatra summoned him to Tarsus. She arrived aboard a golden barge, dressed as Aphrodite, surrounded by attendants dressed as sea nymphs, perfuming the river itself. Plutarch described the scene as pure spectacle, and Antony was undone. What followed was not just romance, it was alliance. Cleopatra and Antony ruled together, had 3 children, declared themselves divine, and redistributed eastern territories to their heirs. Together, they controlled Egypt's wealth, Rome's eastern provinces, massive military forces, and a powerful navy. To Octavian, this was not a love affair. It was an existential threat. Cleopatra controlled grain, gold, and legitimacy. Worse, she was the mother of Caesar's biological son. Octavian declared war, but not on Antony. That would be civil war. Instead, he declared war on Cleopatra alone, framing the conflict as Rome versus a foreign queen. Roman propaganda portrayed her as a witch, a seductress, an Eastern despot corrupting Roman virtue. The decisive moment came at Actium in 31 BCE. When Cleopatra's ships withdrew, Antony followed her, abandoning the battle. Whether strategic or catastrophic, the result was defeat. Rome advanced on Alexandria. Antony, believing Cleopatra dead, fell on his sword, but lived long enough to be carried to her, bleeding and broken. He died in her arms. Cleopatra mourned, but she was also trapped. Rome surrounded her. Her power was gone. The official story claims that Octavian planned to parade her through Rome, humiliate her, and execute her afterward. Cleopatra supposedly refused. On August 12, 30 BCE, she arranged her death. The story says she died peacefully, but cobra venom does not kill peacefully. It causes agony, convulsions, vomiting, and slow suffocation. The sources describe none of this. 3 women supposedly died from one snake. No snake was ever found. Cleopatra was under heavy guard. Poison, however, explains everything. Cleopatra was a known expert in toxicology. Fast-acting poisons existed. Poison could kill 3 people at once. Poison leaves little evidence. Poison fits the description perfectly. And poison benefits Octavian. Cleopatra alive was dangerous. Cleopatra dead solved everything. After her death, Octavian hunted down Caesarion and had him executed. Too many Caesars, his advisors reportedly said. The other children were spared not from mercy, but because they posed no threat. Cleopatra's legacy was erased, her statues destroyed, her name defaced, her intelligence reduced to seduction, her resistance transformed into romance, her tomb rushed, hidden, and lost. Octavian became Augustus, Rome's greatest emperor, the man who brought peace, the man who wrote history. But peace built on silence is still violence. Cleopatra was not simply defeated. She was neutralized, physically, politically, and historically. And perhaps Rome's greatest victory was not killing her, but convincing the world she chose to die. So ask yourself this. If Octavian ordered the execution of a teenage boy who threatened his claim, would he hesitate to remove the woman who nearly dismantled Rome itself? Cleopatra did not fade into legend. She was erased. And the truth of her death may be the greatest cover-up of the ancient world. Subscribe to the Obsidian Chronicles if you want history without the lies. Leave a comment below. Did Cleopatra choose death, or was she murdered by Rome's first emperor? Because some deaths are tragedies. Others are executions. And sometimes, history's greatest love story is actually history's greatest lie.